Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Fall Jersey. Joe Archino back here. And if you wanted action yesterday, the UEFA Champions League certainly provided it, as always. And you really didn't have to look much further than either of the matches we had yesterday. Barcelona-Arsenal, Juventus-Bayern Munich. We all kind of knew both were going to be really, really great matches. And unfortunately, we couldn't really spread them out between today and yesterday. They were both happening at the same time. But of course, we got to watch them both. And the one to start with, I think, has got to be Juventus and Bayern Munich, because just the sequence that game followed was incredible. It really was a riveting watch, and Bayern Munich obviously goes up 2-0 in that game, scoring one goal early right before halftime, Müller, and then Robin scores a goal in the 55th minute, which was incredible. And it's one of those things where when you look at the numbers, the possession clearly was in Bayern's favor, 64% to Juventus 36%, but that is usually how these matches are played out for Juventus. Juve is going to capitalize on their counterattack. Early in that first half, they were very happy and content to just sit back, let Buffon really take control of the game, and just try to get the good counterattack going when they could. And for the most part, that is what defined the first half. Bayern Munich obviously was the aggressor. All the action was happening their way, but Juventus, when they're playing these sides, like we saw in the Champions League final last year, always are going to try to capitalize with their counterattack, and Bayern Munich really, really was in control of this one for the most part in that first half, but clearly, the second half was filled with action, with Robin scoring to go up 2-0, and I think at that point you could really just hear a pin drop for Juventus, because it was as dead quiet as you could get, but they did come roaring back. Paulo Dybala in the 63rd minute with the goal to make it 2-1, and then Sturaro with another goal in the 76th minute. So to walk out of that one with a 2-2 draw, and then Juventus still did have some nice opportunities after they did level this game, but it's one of those things where we know how the Champions League works. Those away goals are going to be very costly for Juventus. Really conceding both of them at their own place is going to be very difficult. The biggest thing you have to ask is how many goals are they really going to be able to muster up when they go to travel and play Bayern Munich? And it's one of those things where I don't know. Juventus still has a chance, but this was one of those games where I think we heard Massimiliano Allegri say a 0-0 draw is kind of something that's acceptable here. And some people didn't like that. Some people thought, yes, it is acceptable, because when you're facing a side like Bayern Munich that's so dynamic and so versatile offensively, if you're walking away with that and not conceding anything at home, you can live with that. And it's one of those things where Juventus really has shown a little bit more of an offensive spark. Clearly, Paulo Dybala getting going was something that they wanted to see. And I thought in this game, I did like Juventus, because to me, when Italian sides take on German sides, I always give a little bit of an edge to the Italian side, because I think Italian tactics are very different for German sides to prepare for, and it always gives them a little bit of problems. But Juventus, if they probably should have been a little bit more aggressive early in that game, instead of just letting their defenders do what they do. And I thought Bonucci had an incredible game, and Buffon, of course, doing what he always does, because most of these matches come down to who has better goaltending. And in that game, it really was a tale of two halves. Buffon played an incredible first half, and then, of course, we know that Juventus finally picked up the firepower, and they were able to find the 2 goals in the second half to help him out. But it's one of those things now where they're in a tough spot, and they've used and expended so much energy so far in Serie A, because we remember how difficult the season was to start out for Juventus. 0-2, the first time that's happened for them in 87 years of Serie A history, coming off a Serie A title win. But it's one of those things now that they've started to really come into their own. They're in first place in Serie A. They had a big win against Napoli, winning 1-0. So they had that really prolonged winning streak in Serie A. So it's one of those things where they have expended a lot of energy getting back to first place in Serie A, and this really is a competition they always do well in, and it's one of those things where I'm not writing them off right away, but that was the kind of game where I don't know if we expected there to be as many goals as there was. That certainly did surprise me, but I think certainly more people were surprised than anything at the way that Juventus responded. being down 2-0 at home to a side like Bayern Munich is very difficult to kind of come back from. But, you give them credit because this is a side that really relies so heavily on their defense. But when they need it, that offense has really always been there for them. Paulo Dybala has changed the game in that regard. I mean, where he's such a dangerous player is he's created the most chances for his teammates this season in Serie A, and he's also second in goal scoring this season in Serie A. When you combine those two things, it's a nightmare to defend because you've got to respect the commitment that he has to get his teammates involved and to put them in position to score. But he's also got his ability to score, and when you have those two things, it makes it so difficult to prepare for and just to really game plan for while the game is happening. In this game, situational awareness is very difficult to take away from Paulo Dybala because he reads the game so well and he really knows when he has to do one of those two things. And clearly he got Juve going with his goal, and then Sturaro got his goal, and that's where we got where we are now. But certainly we're all excited for the next competition that these two will face up against. Juventus has got a little bit of their back up against the wall because, again, those aggregate goals, the away goals really are going to help Bayern Munich tremendously in this next one. Even if they're able to walk away with just barely anything in their next one, they're in better position because of those away goals. And we'll certainly see Juventus. If this was Juventus last season, I probably would have told you no, they really wouldn't have had a chance. But now that their offense has changed and they really have so much more firepower with Paulo Dybala spearheading that, and Alvaro Morata got a couple nice looks on the goal, they've got a chance here. It's still going to be very difficult, but they've got a chance here. And if you're Juventus, I think you will take that chance if someone offers it to you. But the next one, Arsenal and Barcelona, has another segment prepared for that one. Look, it was messy magic as usual, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll be right back.